Gone are the days when colleges were simply looking for students with high grade point averages and test scores. Today's universities are looking for well-rounded, multifaceted students who are involved and who have proof of having grit. They want students who will not just begin college well, but those who will persevere, graduate, and represent the university well for the rest of their lives. One university is about to get exactly what they want. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to Lincoln High School, where one senior is not new to impressing people, and she's not about to stop. Lincoln High School in Sioux Falls is known for many things, and their band program is not least among them.
The show is called The Wild this year, and it was basically everything that we could think of that was just wild. The music was wild, the costuming is wild. We had some pretty wild props. We had our whole front ensemble on the field around this tree stump with all these roots coming out of it, and it was a really fun show to put together. We could really open up our creativity and have some fun with it. The kids had an opportunity to express themselves individually in this show, and it really came together well. It was a tough show, probably the toughest show we've ever done, but it was also very rewarding.
Season went really well, actually. So the show this year was The Wild, and it had some really cool music and really a fun bodywork to do. We did really well at competitions. I feel like the competitions are much more fun to do than just do practice all day, but it's worth it, all of the practice that we do to go to the competitions and just do what we do.
Even though the field competitions are now over, there's still more to be done.
We just finished our outdoor season for marching band. We have our indoor shows coming up here this next week. We have a matinee on Wednesday for the middle schoolers, and then we have our evening shows on Thursday night, November 1st, and then Saturday night, November 3rd. So we have 2 shows per night.
For seniors like Josephine, these last shows can be bittersweet, especially when you think back on everything invested.
We start in the last week of July, and it's called SPAT Camp, so from July to almost like the start of school. And those are like 8-hour days, about, like from 8 to 5, and then they shorten up to like 8 to 12 or whatever.
For seniors, and Josephine was one of our clarinet section leaders, we really just have very high expectations for them to lead by example. We always want that out of our student leaders, and just to be outstanding members of the band in every way, whether it be having their music memorized first or just doing what's right all the time. That's our expectation for those students, and the better they do that, the better it trickles through the rest of the band.
In marching band, I'm a section leader for the clarinet section, and for the clarinet section, as a section leader, you have to just like keep them in line, and by like keep them in line, I mean like whenever they're talking, when the director's talking, you just say, guys, listen up, make sure you're listening to the directors, they're saying something important. Or when we're marching around on the field and we go to like a set or like one of our like spots that are in our like dot books, it's like a whole thing. I tell them to check their dot books or make sure they're on their exact spot, and I sometimes step it off for them.
Expectations as a leader are not new to Josephine. She's been on the Lincoln cross country team.
I'm on the JV team, and the entire cross country team, like every like JV girls, JV boys, varsity girls, and varsity guys got first place at Metro meet, and so that was really fun to be a part of a team that just does really well. And
she's on the track team.
I do 100 hurdles and 300 meter hurdles. I can't wait. I love doing hurdles. It feels like I'm flying when I go through them. and so it's really fun. Last year I got second at state in both hurdles, and I'm hoping to catch Elizabeth Schaefer this year, get first place. For the track team, I think it's just to encourage the freshmen and the 8th graders too, because they're some pretty good 8th graders, to just stay motivated and keep on trying their best, because it's going to pay off in the end.
Beyond hurdles, she also runs the 4x200 relay, and she also placed 3rd in the state in the long jump last year as a junior. She's involved throughout the school.
I am a part of Collision, and that is a faith-based group. I'm one of the leaders. So the leaders in Collision were chosen because they were a leader in the school in some aspects. So like kids on the varsity volleyball team or on the varsity basketball team or something like that. And they just got together with the big group, and then Mr. Luchins and John Glasser, the head of the Collision group thing, they told us to go out and try to get our friends to join Collision so we could learn about God together. And I think it was really fun, really good idea. I'm in National Latin Honor Society, but we do this thing called the National Latin Exam every year, and so studying for that can be tough, but doing it, I think it really pays off in the end. Yeah, and then I'm also in National Honor Society, and so volunteering and doing all those things is fun. I'm in student council, and I was just elected into that junior year, and so the whole process has been fun. I've met a lot of people through that.
She's a part of National Latin Honor Society because after 4 years of taking classes, she's become something of a master.
Josephine has been my Latin student during all of her high school career. I've had her for Latin 1, Latin 2, Latin 3, and now she's one of the cream of the crop AP Latin students in the district. The AP program's been growing, and so we usually start with about 50 to 60 Latin 1 students, and we get down to 20 for AP Latin. So it shows a lot of dedication, a lot of discipline, a lot of motivation, and a lot of hard work. AP Latin is the most difficult class. The difficulty level is very, very high. We translate 18,000 words during the school year from 2 different authors. The first author we translate from is Julius Caesar from De Bello Gallico, about the Gallic War. And then the second half of the year we translate from Virgil's Aeneid, that wonderful, wonderful poem that describes the heritage and founding and the history of Rome. So very different passages, one's prose, one's poetry, lots and lots and lots of lines, and many, 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 many vocabulary words. And sometimes the words you only see once during the year. And so when you get to that AP test and you get those passages, it's very difficult to be able to recall all that.
Well, I want to be a doctor, so I thought that that'd be like a good segue into it. So you'd learn the root words, and so you can, memorize things easier or learn them easily. And then also I stuck with it because I don't know, I just really like Latin. I like sometimes when I'm watching a show about the show Supernatural, they have spells in there, and I it's in Latin, so I like reading them and try to figure out what they're saying.
On top of all of this are an accelerated pre-calculus class, anatomy and physiology, advanced placement lit and comp, government, and AP macroeconomics in the spring. It's not always easy.
It's pretty stressful. Sometimes I go to sleep as soon as I get home from school, and then I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, finish my homework, and then go to school. So then I'm kind of awake-ish. But yeah, I have no idea how I do it, honestly.
But she does. And she does it all with a grace and humility that others can't help but love. For instance, the clarinet isn't the only instrument she plays.
Josephine came in as a freshman clarinet player, and we put her on contrabass clarinet once we got a contrabass clarinet, and she ended up trying out for that instrument at All-State and making it, and I think she's a third or fourth year member of All-State Band, or at least I think three-year member of All-State Band now, and on the contrabass clarinet, and she's really taking a liking to it. She's named the instrument, and she just does a great job. It's if you ever get a chance to see a concert, it's the tallest woodwind instrument in the band. She has to sit up on a stool to play it, and it just looks awesome. Symphonic Band is our top band at Lincoln, and she is our only contrabass clarinet in that band. And they're pretty rare anyway, pretty rare instruments, but she just does a great job.
Oh, it's exciting to have watched Josephine grow from a freshman to a senior. I think the biggest example of that is her running for student council, which was really out of her comfort zone. But she has goals, and she has a dream, and she wants to accomplish that. And now whenever there's an opportunity that helps her accomplish that goal, she just grabs it and she just goes for it. And that's a little different from freshman year when we walked in here. She wants to develop her potential, and her potential just amazes me. I hope she keeps in touch with me so I find out what she ends up doing in the next 10, 20 years, because I think it's going to be amazing. She has dreams of making the world a better place. She has a heart for refugees and minorities. She has a heart for people who don't have things, material things, and she has a heart for making the world a better place. And part of her reason for running for student council was to make sure those thoughts were represented on student council. Not that they weren't before, but she wanted an emphasis on that. And when she goes to college, she wants to pursue that. And she also wants to become a doctor. And she talks about going back to Africa, where her family is from, and doing mission trips, medical mission trips. And it just makes my heart sing to hear her speak of those goals.
As the daughter of South Sudanese immigrants, Josephine's resources are limited. Her future is anything but.
QuestBridge is this program that helps low-income, high-achieving students get into their dream colleges and then go to those schools for basically nothing. And they pay for all of your expenses. And I'm a finalist, actually. So out of, I think, 16,000 people, only 6,000 got it. And so I'm one of those 6,000. And so all I have to do is fill out a few applications and then send it to the schools. And then I find out if I actually get a match to one of the schools, because it's kind of like you rank the schools that you want to do, and then they also rank you too. So if you guys match up and he's like, you're their number one and they're your number one, then you can go to their school. And yeah, you find out about that on December 3rd. My number one pick is Duke University. I feel like I fit in really well at that school. It's really big, and I really like I like rivalries, and I think the UNC and Duke rivalry would be really fun. And I also I would really like to run track there. So I'm hoping that the coach would let me.
We talked about QuestBridge actually during her freshman year. This has been on her radar for a long time, and it was on my radar for her pretty quickly after I met her. QuestBridge is a very special program to specifically help students who have not had a previous generation get to college. And we've had several QuestBridge students in the past at Lincoln. We've had several get matched. It's almost like a residency program, and the residence gets matched when you're in med school. It's a matching program. Phenomenal schools are in QuestBridge. They are top name schools. And Josephine has the potential to succeed at one of those schools and be challenged at one of those schools, and she also meets the requirements for the QuestBridge program because her parents, grandparents have not been to college. And so we started thinking about that freshman year, and she's met every deadline, and now it's crunch time. So the essays are in, the application is in, the recommendations are in, the schools have been named that she would want to go to, and she made finalist. So I will keep that text forever, where she sent me the letter announcing that she's a finalist, and now we just have to wait to see what happens.
Josephine is not waiting idly. Her continuous, gracious involvement in the school is an inspiration not only to the other students around her.
She's just a good person. She's very, very likable. Everybody obviously likes her. She's a homecoming queen, and she's just a genuinely good person.
And your 2018 Red Letter Days queen is Josephine Dawn.
but also to the faculty and the staff at the school.
There are two teachers in particular that have helped me a lot this year. Since I am low income, it's kind of hard. Well, I was nominated onto the homecoming court, and it was kind of a surprise, I guess. My family didn't really have the money to like get me the dress and the shoes and all those things. And my hurdle coach, Karin Huber, and then my Latin teacher, Lynn Thomason, really helped me, and they really pulled together some money. And so I got to just like live out my day as a homecoming without worrying about having to get dressed and shoes and that extra expense.
It was quite exciting for Josephine to be nominated for Homecoming Queen. It was overwhelming for her. And with that comes so much fun and so much excitement for that week. And one of the things that happens is coronation. And so the girls get dolled up that night. They need to have the pretty dress and the makeup and the jewelry and the shoes. And so not just me, but other teachers also wanted that to be a most special night for Josephine. And so we went online dress shopping and shoe shopping and had a makeup person come here to school and just wanted the night to be extra, extra, extra Cinderella special for her. And it was. She was crowned that night because what's better than knowing that people care about you and that people are rooting for you and that you have all that support, because with that she'll accomplish and she'll make the world a better place. I just know it.
She's already got a head start on that.
The sky is the limit, and she takes that very seriously. She knows that she has talent, she knows that she has gifts, and she wants to use those gifts responsibly and in a productive way for society, and that probably makes me the most proud of her.
I think Lincoln really prepares you for where you need to go and what you need to do and where you're going to be.
First off, she's a wonderful musician. She just does a really good job of being prepared and of just really working hard in every aspect of the program. But she also is just a great person. Josephine always has a smile on her face. She always says hi in the hall. She always just seems happy to be around, and she's just a great kid. So we're really fortunate to have her in the program.
We know about the Renaissance man, we know that term, but how about we use the term Renaissance woman for Josephine, because she's well-rounded, and that's what we want. We have all these opportunities at Lincoln for students to explore and see what their interests are and develop their potential. And Josephine has taken all of those brass rings, and now look what's happened. She excels in band, so she has the artistic talent. She excels in running. I can't believe how fast that girl runs. So she has the athletic talent, and now she's in these AP classes. So she has the academic talent. So I call those the 3 A's of Lincoln: the academics, the arts, and the athletics. And she's got that rare combination where she excels in all three. And it's just beautiful to see. It's just been a blessing to be Josephine's teacher, and I will really miss her.
Stay tuned to see much more from Josephine throughout the year, including at symphonic band concerts and in track. But we'll also update her progress in Questbridge on the Sioux Falls School District's website.